in July, we had a very important event, a conference that was organized in Istanbul, and on that occasion, it has been, let's say, evaluated the activity, and it has been proposed an approach that has to be oriented towards the most important problems of the region. And in this approach, there is a set of principles that have been adopted, principles that starts from, let's say, facilitating the access to knowledge, aspects related to the environment protection, aspects related to considering the facilitation of creative energies of students and professors for addressing the problems of the region. At the same time, principles related to put education in the forefront of all the activities of the network. So the general methodology that was proposed and adopted in Istanbul was to start with the critical diagnosis of, let's say, different concerns in the society, to substantiate and to find out what kind of things can be done, and finally to come up with some methodological approaches to have some new solutions. So based on this analysis, later on, President Zulfikar, the rector of Istanbul University and present president in office of the network, proposed actually three areas to start with. So the first one was the problem of migration. The second one, it was the problem of sustainable development, focusing on the implementation of SDGs. And the third one, it was the broad approach of human security. And in all this process, we had the partnership with the World Academy of Art and Science. And within the World Academy of Art and Science, there is a World University Consortium. And we have the privilege of having with us Professor Ralph Wolf. He is the chair of the World University Consortium. And I would like to, and I have to point on this. So at the moment, Ralph is based in the US, where the time is the midnight. So it's over the midnight, actually. So thank you very much for this effort, Dr. Wolf. Thank you for your support. So together we had two more meetings regarding how to address and how to guide the activities of this kind of groups. And just let's say to start, we identified in some of the universities, some of the study programs that could be grouped into these three categories. Programs that might be of master, of PhD, or even at the bachelor level. Then dedicated to migration, or problems dedicated to sustainable development. And here we have a very broad types of programs. And programs related to human security, how to promote the human security topics. So just to give you, let's say, hint regarding because the first two topics, I'm sure that for all of you are very familiar, but just to make sure that the topic of human security is also well considered. So I have prepared an example from my university where we are developing a program dedicated to human security approach for automotive engineering. So in Ovidius University of Constanța, we have a master program that is addressing the automotive engineering. And now in order to put much more focus on human security issue, so we started from the definition that was adopted in 2012 by the United Nations General Assembly regarding the human security as an approach to assist the member states in identifying and addressing widespread and cross-cutting challenges for the survival, livelihood, and dignity of the people, which called for people-centered, comprehensive, context-specific, and prevention-oriented responses that strengthen the protection and empowerment of people. Very general, very broad definition. Here, the United Nations put an emphasis on these three aspects of freedom: freedom from fear, freedom from want, and freedom to live in dignity. So how to implement this concept of human security? Of course, the complexity of the problems in the society are very broad. And of course, there are aspects that are multidimensional, multi-sectorial. And in that respect, we have to identify pathways because there is not a general solution. There are different types of solutions to facilitate a stronger culture of prevention, collaboration, and responsibility. So, as we all know, generally speaking, in addressing the issues of security in general, we start with the value analysis. Doesn't matter if we are talking about an engineering system, or we are talking about an institution, or we are talking about different types of other measures in the society. So in the next phase, we are evaluating the risks and define possibilities, solutions for mitigating the risks. Then we move forward with the life cycle analysis and optimization. And then we take, let's say, the decision to select the solution that has to be implemented based on a multi-criteria analysis and decision making. So in this context, unfortunately, we are facing very, let's say, cooperative behavior. So this is a picture that was taken by Pablo Coelho in Bucharest some years ago, where you can see that is somewhere Jose, and all the others, they look how he is working, and nobody is trying to support him. So we have this kind of attitude in the society in general. And of course, in order to shift this, in human security reasoning, we need to promote these kind of values: multivalent logic, synthetic thinking, integrative learning, focus on consequences, generate synergies, teamwork, active involvement. So we have to make a paradigm shift considering, let's say, uh, new approaches in education, from fixed knowledge to asking good questions, learning as a process and product, shifting the teacher role towards a consultant, looking for, let's say, involvement of students in the learning process, and of course, aspects related to much more active types of teaching, like asking questions, critical thinking, commitment, independence, and all these elements. So, in this context, of course, we have to find out some ways of integrating the individuals in teams and to generate a creative way of cohesion in the society. So now what everything has with automotive. So automotive is a very important issue. You can see all around the world we are flooded by the fleets of cars, and there are regions where the car is the essential element of the civilization. There are also regions that are under the siege of cars, and here there are some aspects related to the way in which we are using the cars. So you can see here that actually 92% of the time of a lifetime of a car, the car is parked. So 92% of the car lifetime, it's just parked. And you can see that only 5% is just driving, which is the main function of the car. And here you can see that only very tiny, we can take it, let's say, a droplet from the entire fuel consumption is used for moving the people. The rest is lost in different ways and never reaching the fuel. So 86% of the fuel never reaches the wheels of the car, and aspects related to deaths and accidents. So here are some of the harms on humans of the car, like aspects related to pollution, to noise, to sedentary travel, to different other elements of crashes, different other aspects related to intended violence, resource extraction, and so on. So, of course, going further into analysis, we can see that some of these, let's say, major security aspects of the cars, like crash, intention violence, pollution, sedentary travel, consumption of space and time, carbon emissions, and resource extraction, could be also connected to aspects related to violence, health, social injustice, and environmental damage. And detailed analysis have to be performed. So besides of that, in the case of car, we have to consider that today the car is not anymore just a isolated item. So much more important than the car are the infrastructures that are connected to the car, but at the same time covering many very important aspects of the mobility in general, including access to the road infrastructure, monitoring aspects related to traffic incidents, different aspects related to the management, and of course the aspects of intelligent vehicles that is now getting more and more important. So one approach is to redefine the car. So to consider the car of the future, to consider the car to be much more safer, to be, let's say, enough safe in order to reduce, to minimize the security issues. But at the same time, we have the aspects of redefining the city from the perspective of the position of mobility inside the city and recovering, let's say, the city for the citizens. And indeed, that context, we have this approach of reconsidering the urban mobility, which in some way is the best approach to the education of the students in such a way to put in the core the human security issues. So this approach is now integrated in a broader activity related to the promotion of human security. The World Academy of Art and Science defined its mission to promote human security in partnership with the United Nations. Actually, this year in July, there is a sort of marking of one of the very important foundation elements of the World Academy of Art and Science. Probably you remember in 1955, it was a very famous manifesto signed, initiated by Bertrand Russell and Albert Einstein that promoted this very element issue. So human beings are that have to remember that are part of this humanity and to forget the rest. So in that context, also the World Academy is now in the process of considering a new approach to the promotion of human security. And in July, it will be a very important event when a new report will be released in that aspect. So this is just an example of how we can use, let's say, usual programs and to shape them in a human security centered approach. So besides of that, of course, in our last discussion, we have been, let's say, discussing around the subject of how we are going to shape this activity and what kind of resources are we going to take. And in that respect, I would like now to share with you the presentation that was prepared by Dr. Wolf. Ralph, would you like to say, and I can move them, I can move the slides.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for your time. Let me just say, in our typical discussions of human security is typically there are a lot of courses on it, but it is usually at the diplomacy level, too often by military people incorporating, well, how do we think about people? Given the poly crisis that we all know is going on, so many conflicts, just India and Pakistan, just the last few days. Yes, you can see migration, climate change, political shifts. These can't be dealt with separately. And what we'd like to do with the World Academy and the World University Consortium is to focus on what is the mindset that will enable people to see for new leadership, for the people who we are training in universities, to see the interconnectedness, not just one silo, and to treat it independently because that no longer works. So we'd like to redefine human security to embed it within disciplines, whether it's migration, climate change, but more broadly, automotive security is a very creative way. How can we creatively embed the principles, the values of making people first? So it's about a mindset of interdisciplinarity, interconnectedness. Uh, Colleagues of mine use the term global, a global or planetary consciousness, but aware of local issues with a focus on solutions and active work to resolve the problems. We in universities have produced the problems that we're facing, the leaders, it's the mindset of economism, so we'd like to shift that. So what we'd like to do is, for the last several years, the World Academy has had an HS4A campaign with the United Nations Development Program and the United Nations Trust Authority and the Consumer Technology Association, where we presented at the Consumer Electronics Show for the last 3 years and have reached well over 1 million people with the message. The consortium, we'd like to work with disciplines and break down the silos, think about Human Security for All University Programs campaign. So we're thinking of a pilot partnership if we can work with a number of programs in the Black Seas Network. And then we'd like to expand globally and demonstrate how this can be done. In talking with many people, it's definitely and desperately needed to think about putting people first. Let's go to the next. So the whole idea is, as Eden talked about, is putting people first, building on the UN's human security programs that they have had, which is the interplay of food, health, environmental, political, and personal and community security. And I'd like to say, I think all disciplines can contribute in the same way with when you look at migration or sustainability, they all link to other issues that we have to prepare people for. So our idea is to create a certification program where we would recognize the creativity of bringing human security into various disciplines, recognize and publicize that creativity. And the next slide will show you how there would be to have a pilot. And we've worked with this in the US. I've worked with multiple universities to use this kind of framework where you self-assess initially, where are we around integrating human security into the program, defining outcomes, how it's embedded in the curriculum, such factors as interdisciplinarity, pedagogy, the things that Eden just himself focused on in the automotive program, and what the impact is. And to then look at it, is it initial, emerging, developed, and our goal is to embed and improve the treatment of human security so that it actually becomes, we collectively can develop this new mindset of thinking globally and acting locally. So our idea would be, we'd love to work with you, raise funding and create a pilot program of a group of programs, and we'd work together, field test this framework. I've already talked to a number of people who would be very excited to support the integration of human security in your programs and to then establish criteria for recognition, which we would promote nationally and internationally. And we would start with self-assessing against a framework. and then review what you have done for certification and recognition, and to give an award for those programs. And this we would hope would not be just one and done, but that we could build a community of improving the whole way disciplines are presented and taught, so that human security becomes something that is promoted internationally across multiple disciplines and multiple universities, sponsored by the World Academy and the World University Consortium. So we'd love to partner with you and hope if you have any questions, but we would work together and define how to do this in a way that is not burdensome, but adds value. Um, where Eden and I have been talking about where we might seek funding and identified here. We're scheduling a call soon with Consumer Technology Association has a mobility group for programs like what Eden is working on. The Zayed Foundation has a sustainability prize. We want to work and explore with them the possibility of creating a human security prize. Uh, we're in conversation with the founder of the Shafiq Kabir Foundation. And of course, and the Lumina Foundation is in the US. In conversation, we're trying to launch conversations with them. And of course, funding from the European Union. But we think there would be funding available for this to support faculty development and programs, and would be a project to work together and develop ways in which we could creatively embed the mindset of the interplay of human security for any of the disciplines that you might choose. So we'd hope we could work together and look forward to your questions or anything, or any ways that we could support your efforts to make human security more prominent in the way we think about each of our disciplines. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. From our side, uh, fixing this day of 9 of May, it was not very inspired because we have the colleagues from Azerbaijan and Georgia, where this date of 9 of May is holiday, and they have not joined this meeting. But of course, this discussion is recorded, and we shall distribute to the entire group the record of this, let's say, meeting. So now we are opening the floor for discussions. Just in order to fix the ideas, we are at the point to consider these steps. So we are expecting that from each university to come up with the pilot proposal. So, for instance, a proposal that is a program, as I said, bachelor, master, or PhD program on migration, sustainable development, or human security. Then together we shall structure a proposal for one of the funding sources that have been presented by Ralph. So there is now an open call at the Zayed Foundation, and we can, let's say, focus with the first call on these sustainability programs. And of course, there are some other sources that are, let's say, closer, or they have the calls that have been not necessarily launched yet, but they will be launched immediately, and so on. So in the second phase, as I said, we shall prepare this proposal for funding, and then it will be a process of working together based on this scheme that was presented by Dr. Wolf. So we shall make a self-evaluation at the initial phase regarding the integration into the program mission, the aspects that are related to human security, evaluation of the curriculum, the interdisciplinarity and the connectivity between different disciplines, the way in which the active learning is promoted, the pedagogical aspects for teaching, the evaluation of the faculty expertise, the impact of the community impact elements, and of course aspects related to the student outcomes. And then working together in the base of the methodology that I have presented, we shall identify some ways of improving, and then we shall see how the process is going to be extended towards high developed or exceptional phase. And in this way, we shall be able to facilitate this certification process. So we are going to send you all these presentations just to have them. And yeah, now please, we kindly ask you to express your opinion. So let us start from Kiev.
Hello, everybody. Greetings from Kiev Polytechnic Institute, Kiev, Ukraine. Many thanks for your time and energy, Professor Mahmoud and Mr. Ralph Wolf, for very insightful presentations. And first of all, I would ask kindly Professor Mahmoud to provide concerning your proposals to create a pilot bachelor's, master's degree programs to provide a kind of template so that our relevant educators could draft those proposals. Because actually, at the moment, Kiev Polytechnic is very active in such issues concerning human security as humanitarian demining, which is also related to sustainable development concerning post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. And this is for us very important. Also, together with Polish colleagues, we're working on program concerning migration of Ukrainian women specialists in information technologies, and how it would be possible to provide online learning for them. And this is also very important for our institution. So we would be very grateful to you if you could supply us more details how to our relevant educators could draft those proposals to be clear cut and facilitate the process of your evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you. So would you like you, Ralph, to start, or I can say a few words at the beginning and then you could add to this. So first of all, the evaluation of the selection of the program, because it should be a program that is already running. So it's not a new program. So it should be a program that is already running, and it has to be selected from at least 3, maybe 5 perspectives. So we can provide you this framework. The first one is, of course, the strategic decision. Because in the case of Ukraine, we are talking about many priorities at the moment, and of course, everything is very urgent, but it should be something which is much more important than all the others. And only you and the leadership of your university, you know which, let's say, area of programs are the most urgent programs that have to be strengthened, supported. So this is the strategic level. The second aspect is about the societal need, because if we have a program, doesn't matter how important it is, but nobody cares about that program, it is also senseless to waste resources on it. So it should be a program that has a societal connection. So there are already, how can I say, students that are willing to follow this program, and it is a demand for it. The third aspect is about the people, the educators, the professors. So it should be a motivated group. The motivation probably is the key element. Of course, besides of the motivation, we need to see how they are prepared, if they are prepared, if there is a need for supporting the, let's say, preparation of the teachers and so on and so forth. So these are the 3 elements to start with. Besides of these 3 elements, we could add, of course, aspects related to infrastructure, because you mentioned about the way to teach this online in some cases, or to use them in some remote areas where there are some areas that have been bombarded or have been destroyed, and so on. So this is also the element that we have to take into consideration if we have, and what kind of infrastructure is needed for supporting all these aspects. And finally, to my opinion, of course, it's about the students. Always, unfortunately, we have to start with the students, but we put them at the end always. But of course, is about their status. So what kind of students are you focusing on? Are they full-time employed in the education process? Are they part-time? Do they do this in some way? So these kind of elements that have to be considered. But the final decision is your decision, is not the decision of this group, is the decision of your university to say, look, we are defining as pilot these 1, 2, 3 programs. And this has to come from your side, from the university side. Then, if we succeed to pass over this process in, let's say, 1, 2 weeks, that would be great, because we are lacking a lot of time. And as I told you, there is this Zayed Sustainability Prize call that is already until June. So we have something like 1 month to prepare the proposal. So we need to have the selection of the programs as soon as possible in order to finalize the writing of the proposal and to sketch the plan that was mentioned by Ralph. So if you have some other questions, Dr. Sitin. Sitin or Sitin?
Sitin.
Sitin, okay.
Okay. Many thanks, Eden, for your very detailed explanation. And it is almost clear to me all the items that you have covered. And we will make every endeavor to prepare the proposals concerning your requirements, and our relevant group will be start as soon as possible.
Thank
Many
you.
thanks.
Thank you. So let us go forward with the ladies. So now I invite Maria Kavala.
Good morning to everyone. Well, okay, what I would like to ask concerning the programs and that we are going to propose for the project, if we are talking about an MA program, for example, is it going to be evaluated by you, I mean by all of us, with the criteria you have already mentioned, and then if it passes this evaluation, is going to be in the proposal for funding, as I can understand. And concerning bachelor programs, for example, concerning migration, this is the issue that I know better. In our department, we have separate. We have separate classes, courses on migration. Could it be proposed as a whole, for example, concerning the program, something like that?
So if I understand correct, you say that in your university for migration, you have a bachelor program, but you have also possibility to go on with master program.
We have already a master program that is running now.
Yeah. So in principle, we would like to move on with one program, not a connected, let's say, line of programs, because it will be difficult. So either you select the master program or the bachelor one, it's up to you. How you will consider it.
Okay. Concerning the bachelor, what okay, there are courses inside the general curriculum concerning migration, but it's not a program on migration. You know, it's
Yeah, understand. So it's better in this case to move on if you have a clear defined program on migration as master level than to go with the master one.
Okay.
But that's the idea, to have this, let's say, first of all, migration issue, but also we try to promote this human security issue. Yes, it is quite a new concept that was promoted by the United Nations. It is a lot of fuzziness in using this human security. Mostly people from diplomacy, they are using at present the human security issue. So that's the reason why we try to promote it and to make it a very, how can I say, common use program
Yes.
in the
Okay.
society. So if there is an interest to have a sort of shaping of your existing master program on migration towards the implementation of the principles of human security, of the concepts of human security, putting the element of let's say, human factor in the core, in the center of the program, that is actually something that is of interest in this approach. And to my opinion, that would add a lot of value also to your program, because the human security issue is something that is giving a new, let's say, value or added value to the existing program on migration.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to see on that what we could do, and also maybe discuss with colleagues that are working on human security and see what we have
Yeah.
there. Okay, thank you.
I would like to kindly ask Dr. Wolf to say a few words now about this methodology of evaluation and so on, because is this concept of rubric that you are used in the United States, and it will be a very nice methodology to do that. So I could come back to the page.
Yes, first, let me say that our hope is that I just want to follow up on something that Professor Mahmoud said, that we don't want to say there is only one way to approach human security. Our hope is that each program will look at it differently or creatively to say, how can we integrate it? We have used, I have run two different agencies, one with close to 200 universities with over 1.5 million students, and the other with the state higher education systems in 2 states in the US, using frameworks like this. And their value is we would, first of all, part of the pilot project would say, are these the right terms? But there is so much to be learned by doing a self-assessment in these categories and saying, where are we? And it's a very powerful tool for improvement, for having conversations of faculty with students about how the program is approaching each of these issues. And we find that a lot of faculty need additional support and training. So the methodology is one that you would start with your own evaluation of the mission statement of the program, the outcomes, the curriculum, and say, where would the principles of human security apply? Where do they already exist? Where could they be introduced? And to think creatively, what would human security mean in this program? So that there isn't only one answer for that each program would define its own ways of integrating human security values into the program. Our experience is that there's a great deal of learning, faculty dialogue, and improvement just by having these conversations. It not only would be, as you mentioned, the opportunity for each faculty to self-assess, but we would assemble a group of experts or those who could work with you to support and evaluate how you are doing with recommendations for improvement, ultimately leading to certification where programs are substantially in the developed or highly developed categories. But we have found it to be a very powerful instrument and one that engages faculty to think differently than just accepting the way we've always done things, because it asks the question, how are we approaching human security? How can we do it in a way such as as Professor Mahmoud has done with automotive engineering? So if each of you would do that in your way, and then we would work with you and hopefully build a collective dialogue on bringing human security more prominently in the conversations in our universities.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralph. So now I would like to move to Romania to Dr. Luciana Ghica. Professor Ghica, can you hear us? Okay, we'll come back later. So, Professor Tunger.
Yes, hello, and thank you, because I would like to be leaving in like 10 minutes. I have another meeting, so it's good timing. Thank you so much. So thank you for these presentations. I'm just a bit confused because is it the only thing that we're gonna go towards to have a program for bachelor degree? We propose other things also. There was in the last meeting, not us, but other people also proposed other projects. So isn't it possible to have parallel, projects going on? Like we've been asking to announce guest editors and to, for specific subjects under human security, migration, sustainable development. So we can announce papers to be published either at our universities, journals or other universities. So it would be the fastest way to get to know each other. That's what we thought. Can we also put that to work? That's one thing. And the second thing is, I thought we created 3 different working groups on 3 different subjects, and those working groups would have internal meetings to carry on the projects. So we need to, I think, set projects like education is one part, publication is another part, and other objectives that's been proposed in the last meeting, so we could, move forward faster. That's what I think.
Thank you. Very good point. So first, yes, there will be all these 3 elements that you mentioned regarding publication, research activities, or community engagement activities in these 3 topics. But we wanted in this meeting to start from somewhere because we have quite a small group of colleagues joining this. I'm sure that for all professors, it's quite difficult to, how can I say, to harmonize their program with the proposed dates. And that's the point. And yes, you're perfectly right. Each of these groups on migration, on SDGs, and on human security, they will organize themselves. But somebody has to push this up to the moment when they establish and they move forward together. So that's the point. We now would like to agree with you to set up a deadline for the proposals coming and having the groups already established. So when this deadline will be reached, then we shall have, doesn't matter if there will be 3, 4, or more, let's say, programs involved in each of these groups, but we shall then support the groups to go forward by themselves.
Okay, we are ready, and our professors are attending to the meetings, and probably they're expecting their working group to be, coming together.
Yeah.
That's and the last thing about this educational program, is it going to be under any university? Because if it's like, for instance, if it's going to be under Istanbul University, we need to get approval from Minister of Higher Education, and the progress extends. So how was it planned?
Maybe here it was the confusion. The problem is as following. So we are not supporting one program somewhere. So each university they have their own programs that are already running. For instance, in your university, let us suppose that you already have a program in migration. So with that program in migration, together with the colleagues from the university in Greece or in Romania or in Azerbaijan, you just collaborate together, but particularly referring to your specific program that is already running in
Okay.
order to improve it and to assure the collaboration with the other universities in order to reach, let's say, a higher level. And on the other side, we shall have the World University Consortium that is going to pass also for those who are willing, because there might be some universities saying, no, we don't want to be, let's say, following this process. But if they would like to follow this process, they could be even certified, and they will obtain a certification that could be used. Particularly, not the certificate is important. Much more important is the process of improvement and of obtaining that certificate.
Okay, thank you. And I would like to be excused. I'm so sorry. I have to run to another
Oh.
meeting. Okay.
Thank you. So
Thank
if
you.
the colleagues from Istanbul University would like to put questions or to make comments.
Thank you, Professor Mahmut. I can say a few things.
Please.
Actually, proposing a MA not a new MA program, but to internationalize maybe in our context, because we have already a MA program on sociology of migration, and it is in Turkish. Therefore, I cannot actually see how can we transform this program into what you have in mind, into a program what you have in mind. Therefore, maybe we can give support by providing some courses about sociology of migration. Maybe in another university, such MA program can be be organized, and we can support by giving some courses, maybe online courses or face-to-face courses. But as Professor Tuncer said, we had in mind some other proposals actually. First of all, maybe a MA program is a bigger one, but maybe also actually I edited a special issue last December in our university, sociology journal of sociology, and this is what I know actually. Therefore, I can propose a special issue about sociology of migration in and specifically about Black Sea region, international migration in Black Sea region. I can, I think I can organize with collaboration, maybe Professor Kavala or some other professors from Georgia, maybe Professor Gika and Professor Erekle from Georgia, Erekle Ashtakvishli. Maybe we can discuss those issues after we create the working groups.
Yes. Yeah. But let me come back because I see that there is a sort of confusion a little bit in this, let's say, program collaboration. So I shall give you exactly how this will happen. So let us suppose that for the migration topic or for the sustainable development, we shall select 5 programs. Okay, it's a program in University of Istanbul, one in University of Bucharest, one in Tbilisi, one in Baku, doesn't matter. So, in the first phase, each of these universities, they will evaluate, first of all, it should be a program that is running. Once again, it's not a new program. So they have a program and they want this program to be in this cooperation aspect. So first of all, they have to make a self-evaluation from their point of view. What is the current situation from the perspective of their own program? Then, based on the evaluation that has been done, they might be interested to identify some possibilities of collaborate with the other universities. Yes, here it should be a problem of language, but only if they want to be interested to collaborate with a colleague from Georgia or with a colleague from Romania, and they would like to have a course on that. That is only if they want. If they don't want and they want just to evaluate their own programs and they want to, how can I say, harmonize and enrich the content, the content, or to use some new methods of teaching or topics, this is just by themselves. They don't need to change the language. It will be continuing in Turkish language and so on. So that's the idea. So each of these, they could continue in their own language. So it's not a problem of, how can I say, of coming up to one single program that has to be for all these universities. I think now it's more clear. So if there are some other questions or comments.
Is it possible to join?
Please, please.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm another member of the Istanbul University for this subject and this meeting. We actually divided the subjects, these three subjects, sustainable development, human security, and immigration, and did it three different parts of the professors. I'm focused on the sustainable development. Actually, I would like. I can say that for the whole of the university, it is possible to find some, not exactly the full program, but in the curriculum, some classes and courses to find about the sustainable development goals. Yes, it's also possible to find migration or human security, but also the focus on the sustainable development. But there is no any specific program just focused on the sustainable development. As I understand it, really, we can self-evaluate our programs in the university and compare the others. It is possible, yes, but it is. I would like to understand what should be the benefit of this process for us. Yes, we can share each other. It's possible, no problem. We developed our programs or our curriculums from this compare the other programs. It's possible. Or it is possible to maybe start with not the programs, maybe some publications or reports, preparing some reports. It's possible. But today, again, we focused on these three topics: sustainable development, mostly the human security and immigration. And it's taken more than 1 hour. We discuss about it, and we have to take up some steps, more steps maybe. In my opinion, that our professors and also Professor Tuncay said that it's possible to divide these three topics and these parallel meetings. If you help us as a secretary of this committee, if you help us, we can start the committees from each university, maybe 5, maybe 7, maybe 8 person, no problem. We can start separately, and you can give a start, and we can continue what should be in the sustainable development, for example. Thank you.
Yeah. So first of all, regarding the program on sustainability, so you know very well that we are talking about 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And there are programs in each university having a target of 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes even more SDGs. So it should be not called Program of Sustainable Development. It could be program on management of water, or it could be a program on civil engineering, or doesn't matter, but addressing a number of SDGs. And that's a program, so the entire program, it is a program for the sustainability group. You understand? So it should not be something that has to be specifically written there that is on sustainable development. Or it should not be necessarily a program on migration. It might be something related to the subject of migration. It might be the topic related to the brain drain. It might be something related to the, let's say, situation of populations and other aspects related to that. So from that perspective, please don't consider very strictly that it should be necessarily a program that has to have this name of sustainable development or that of mobility. It should be considered in a broader aspect. What you are gaining out of this? Of course, each university, you could say, we have our own, let's say, peer reviewing and external reviewing system according to the Turkish, Greek, Romanian systems. And we have plenty of headaches with this. We don't want something, we don't want something more to come on top of that. So this is something very clear. Of course, besides of that, it is enough expensive. I don't know how it's in other countries, but in Romania, we pay a lot of money for the agency that is accrediting and reaccrediting the programs. So that's another issue. Many of us, we spend a lot of time in this self-evaluation, making that many documents and so on. Now is going to come a new one. Just for that, no. So for that reason, discussing very extensively with Ralph, we wanted to find out a very flexible, a very effective way of evaluating this process. But what we see is that this process is going to open the doors for future long-term cooperation between the universities. You mentioned about cooperation between the professors in publications, cooperation between the universities for the exchange of students. We already have this Erasmus, let's say, mobility issue, and we can use the mobility issue in order to improve these programs. Mobility of staff, aspects related to initiating new types of projects, collaborating to some existing projects from one country or another country. So that's the gaining process itself. It's not just this evaluation on itself. The evaluation, it will be much, how can I say, simpler and much more effective, oriented towards developing activities. That's the crucial element out of this. Then, of course, we knew that it was quite a difficult time due to this Easter period, and it was the Ramadan period and so on. So for that reason, we knew that up to the beginning of May, it will be not possible to start something clear. But now we are on the block starts, so we can start. So with your, let's say, permission, we can establish that we shall write to all members of the universities that have already expressed their willingness to join these working groups to establish a deadline. And of course, it's up to us. But to my opinion, 1 week is quite short to put a deadline. So we could suggest that we can use a deadline something like 23rd of May, when each university have to nominate the program that they would like to have for the three groups. And after the 23rd, in the next week, before starting the session of examinations, maybe in some of the universities you already started, but usually June is the period with the exams. So I think starting with the last week of May, we can start organizing the separate groups. Working on migration, on sustainable development and human security. And each group, they will establish the way in which they are going to go with this cooperation between study programs, with aspects of support activities regarding research or regarding publications or mobility issues and so on. Is this okay?
It's okay, thank you. It's better to communicate with my mails and the written papers. It's okay. I would like to say that my excuse to catch my class and keep in touch in the near future. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Ralph, if you'd like to add something. Microphone is.
You've made the main point that the real purpose of this is better understanding, improvement, and hopefully recognition that will add value to the program externally, because some other body has said this is a program of excellence. And at the same time, for those focusing on human security, we'll be redefining it in ways that I haven't seen it being done before, that I think will add real value to the students who you're teaching to be leaders and to put people first.
Okay. So anything else, if there is a comment, question? So with your, please, Volodymyr.
Eden, I would suggest concerning your previous explanation, could you outline a short action plan with deadlines and share with all the participants?
Yes. Yes, so
Thank
in
you.
principle, we agreed that the deadline will be Friday, 23rd of May. And with the next week, starting with the 25th, 26th actually, it will be the period of organizing the meetings for the three groups. The group on migration, the group on sustainable development, and the group on human security. That's the easiest way. Each group, then they will organize themselves, and we shall present them the opportunities for different calls if they are willing to start working together and sketching some proposals in order to, let's say, obtain the support for their activity. Okay, so once again, thank you for your time. I know that all of you, you are very busy and you have plenty of different other commitments. Once again, thank you, Ralph, because it's now already 1:15 in US, in your time zone.
I'll
And
be going to bed next.
so once again, thank you very much, and we'll send now by email the message that was suggested. Thank you.
Thank you all. Much, much appreciated.
Many
Bye.
thanks. Ralph,
Bye
have a
now.
nice sleep.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you. You all
Thank
have a good
Mr.
day.
Eden,
Bye.
thanks for your energy and flexibility and
Thank you.
detailed
Thank you very much.
explanation.
Thank you.
Look
Bye,
forward to
everybody.
working with you
Have
all.
a
It's
nice
been a
and
great
very
pleasure.
productive day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.